Ladies and gentlemen, I got bad news for all US asset investors. Not just the US dollar is going down, Donald Trump is allowing it to go down and therefore is set to go down, 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 down. Let's see what's the implication to all of us investors and including those from Malaysia. The title is US dollar kena jalat jalat. So right now, I thought this is a very funny picture that US dollar now obakak. So I think it's quite a serious matter. While we laugh about it, certainly a lot of US related asset will get a hit. So President Donald Trump actually makes some comments and basically he's allowing the US dollar to crash. And as a result, the ringgit also went up to the moon, as well as Singapore dollar strengthened against the US dollar. And this is a deliberate policy tolerated depreciation. Now, clearly, this is not a devaluation. Devaluation is defined as when the monetary authority deliberately lower the value of the currency. But this is what we call a policy tolerated depreciation. And as a result, the US dollar is set to go down. And Trump has reasons to allow it to go down, which I'll cover. And as a result, the ringgit shot to the moon. And this clearly will have forex implication as well as equities implication. So the US dollar hit a low of 1.26 versus the Singapore dollar and potentially could go down even more. And so Donald Trump actually said that, okay, the dollar is doing great. Okay. He went on to say that I don't think the dollar has declined too much. And he's not concerned about decline and that is finding a fair level. And he also hinted that he's in favor of a weak dollar, something he believes will help export competitiveness. So it is to his interest that the US dollar actually set to depreciate to a level because there are gains from his perspective. So this basically, caused the US dollar to go down quite seriously. And as a result, we're seeing the implications now. So the US dollar has depreciated to a level we have not seen for a very long time. It's hitting the 1.22 in 2012 that I've encountered. And therefore, this is now not just a market phenomenon, this is policy, right? He clearly endorses this. Why does Donald Trump wants a cheaper dollar? Well, this is economics 101. When you have a cheaper currency, it helps exports to be stimulated. So export competitiveness of US goods become cheaper globally, and it helps him to correct the very severe and serious balance of trade imbalance. So US right now suffers a very serious balance of trade deficit. And when you have a cheaper dollar, ultimately you will improve it. It will take some time, but ultimately improve it. And this also helps the to attract foreign investments into US, in particular in setting up factories, infrastructures, companies, and so on, capital influx. Now, it may not improve investments coming into US for equities investment or for bonds investment, but it certainly help from a trade perspective and from capital setup, things like factories and machines and so on. So this is clearly a very serious matter because he make it a policy right now. Now, suddenly these have implications throughout the world. So the US credibility now has gone down from a currency perspective. There is capital flight risk. If everybody thinks that the US dollar is going down, maybe they will do something about it. And as a result, right now, gold becomes the safe haven. Silver also becomes safe haven. Maybe Swiss franc and the euro are alternative as well. So other currencies are going up. So this time around, I don't think it's a short-term dip. This depreciation of the US dollar seems to be a mid to long-term kind of trend because it's policy. And once you've tasted the sweetness of a cheaper dollar in terms of export competitiveness and inflow of investment, the US were set to make this a permanent policy. So the ringgit has appreciated strongly against the US dollar as well as the Singapore dollar. And right now, yes, touch 309. I saw it just now, 311, 310. It's hovering around these few numbers. Clearly, ringgit is now has appreciated very, very strongly against the Singapore dollar, and there are implications to both sides of the economy. So the the ringgit is now going strongly up, and this is largely okay because of the weakening of the US dollar. Now, why is the ringgit appreciating against the Singapore dollar? I think it's both a Malaysia issue and a Singapore issue. The Singapore dollar is pegged to a basket of international currency, of which the US dollar is one of them, and supposedly a big proportion of it as well. So if the US dollar goes down, the Sing dollar naturally will go down as well. So this basically caused the entire, value of Singapore dollar to weaken against the ringgit. Meanwhile, the ringgit, okay, has a enjoyment of upswing is also largely because of the improvement of the geopolitical space and socio-economic space as well. So there's political stability, huge influx of investments into Malaysia right now, and the trade deficit and the budget deficit are all improving. So as a result, we are seeing the ringgit improving tremendously. So what's the implication? Well, the implication is more serious towards the Singapore shopper. The Singapore shopper now face a more expensive prices in Sing dollar terms in Malaysia. So the clearly a lot of shoppers say, I used to enjoy some wonderful exchange rate. It was 350 and now it's depreciating to 309. That's a lot. There's a lot of erosion of purchasing power of the Sing dollar. So as a result, things like the fuel, the grocery, shopping goodies, Chinese New Year purchases, and all this, wow, your food, your restaurant, all of these have came down quite a lot. So I don't think that it is as rosy as it used to be. Now, here, a special note, there are winners as well. The winners are those who have joined me in the purchase of the Malaysian property. Quite a lot of you did that. I'm very happy for you because you're now sitting at least at a 30% uplift from your purchase price, because there's a property appreciation of about 20% so far, and there's a ringgit appreciation of 10 over percent, so total about 30%. So congratulations to all. A lot of you all made a hell of money, okay? And I'm just happy for you guys. So now going back to stock investments for US, clearly the US S&P 500 has actually just hit an all-time high yesterday, but unfortunately it's in US dollar. So there is a appreciation in terms of the value of our stocks, and then a depreciation in terms of the US dollar. So it kind of cancel each other. So that's the sad news. Uh, I have this bad news to tell everybody. I think this will continue. So I think it's important that in the base case scenario, we must factor in a continual depreciation of the US dollar. So the US dollar is likely to depreciate some more. And this will continue to what level, I don't know. Okay. But I don't think that it's going to be that severe in terms of one US dollar to one Sing dollar. I don't think so. But however, a gradual and moderate depreciation is likely to continue. So the good thing is that the US investments are still doing well. So whatever your gains are, you have to factor some of them away because of exchange rate losses. And I always tell everybody, diversify to globally diversify equities. Okay. And also make sure that you have a financial safety net in your CPF, and your CPF will not have currency risk, and accept all this as one big portfolio. So just making very sure everybody understand this. So your net returns must be a factor of your asset performance minus foreign exchange losses or foreign exchange gain, should it happen. And we shall see this kind of volatility going on. Okay, that's the excitement, or that's the danger of investment, right? There are ups and downs because of many reasons, and we just got to think about this and factor that in the total equation. So the final takeaway is this: the U.S. dollar weakness is a policy endorsed outcome, so it's unlikely to go away, and we have to factor that in. The ringgit strength is also a consequence of what happens between US dollar and Sing dollar as well, and is also an outcome of the political transformation of U of Malaysia. So make sure you Malaysian treasure your current prime minister and his leaders, and I hope that you guys will do well continuously. And let's keep very close watch over this period and see whether there are major turbulence. I think let's hope that things get stabilized. And I'll see you in the live stream. Bye bye.